Hey guys, what is up? Architect here, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about BarCitizen. I asked a few questions to Elwin, and I asked a few questions to JakeAccapella, and they had some really good information. It was a crowded place. It was really loud. I had wrote some questions down. I forgot most of them. I didn't bring the questions with me. A bunch of them probably wouldn't be able to got answered anyway. But let's go ahead and start off with some of those questions that I did get to ask. Okay. What is keeping the bay doors from lowering? Most elevators, but in general for the Caterpillar. And Elwin told me that there was a problem with the lifts when they go down, that they were actually pushing the ship up. And now, this was a problem that has to be solved. Obviously, it's just going to be some time before it gets solved. And basically, I'm assuming that all the elevators currently go down at the same level, right? So when they go in contact with surface, the surface doesn't really realize that they're in contact. So it's just pushing the elevator up or clipping through the ship itself, or the ground itself. So uneven terrain is a problem. And I asked why, well, I didn't ask, my org mate asked why the Corsair's landing gear was so short. Long story short, the answer was, so hover trolleys and other small wheeled or hover mechanic vehicles could easily traverse from a flat or uneven terrain to, you know, the ramp. And then I moved on to questions such as the paint schemes and such, and stencils. If you're familiar with stencils, it's basically like when they do patterns on ships or such. And they said that it would be pretty much near impossible to do based on the way the ships were made. I'm not sure if it was from a technical standpoint or from just a general, you know, he explained it to me. I'm not sure if a lot of you are familiar with how Minecraft works, essentially. When you paint your character, Steve, or whatever the other one was, I can't remember. It's a paper doll is what happens. So you get like the front, you get the back, you get the sides, you get the top. And I'm not sure if you get the bottom. It might be part of the front or the bottom or the back. But you have to paint those individually, and they are the character itself is more of a mirrored image. So unless it's assigned, you know, which isn't too technical since there's only like I think four parts or maybe 5 parts to a Steve character versus 37 parts or 84 parts to a Reclaimer or a Corsair or, you know, what have you. So it would be almost impossible to break all of those down and then put stencils across different stencil types. You know, a variety of stencil types across multiple ship types. So that's the long story short, and that's the short version. I know it's crazy. Moving on. I asked what ships were being currently worked on, and Elwin told me that there were some cargo ships still being worked on, that he couldn't really talk much about them. But I mentioned that I was an industrial enthusiast, and he said, yeah, I'm probably going to like what's about to come out. And I told him that I wasn't much for alien stuff, and he said he has been working on alien stuff, and that it will be shown when it's ready. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. It was a BarCitizen, so you have to forgive my memory is a little sketchy. But yeah, I believe he said he was working on some ships, or the team itself. Not if just him, but the team itself was working on some ships, and they will be revealed when they're ready. So that's really awesome. And I asked him which manufacturer would he like to work on more of. Yeah, and he said the Kruger ships. Currently there's only 2 Kruger ships, and he wants to create larger, you know, Kruger ships, or a variety of Kruger ships. And he said to me that they were more of a sports car type of ship. So you think like Mustangs and Camaros, and the American muscle cars, essentially. Possibly some of the European BMWs, Mercedes, and stuff like that. So the sportier, you know, cars, essentially. I'm not really a whole lot familiar with the European cars, other than like the BMW. There's a few sporty cars that I can think of, but I can't think of like the names of them. Anyway, moving forward, I then asked him, what about org emblems or logos? And he said yes, that was very much something they want to work on. He doesn't know exactly when they'll be able to work on it, but it was something that he thinks that would be able to do. Along with and I mentioned there was 5 ships that you can name, you know, put your customized name on. And he said he thought there was more. And maybe they haven't released the ability to put the names on those ships currently, but he said he thinks there's more that should be coming, or they're just adding to a pipeline whenever things happen. They can just somebody can click a button, not him per se, because I don't want to throw him under the bus for saying that he said. Obviously, like I said, I was a little inebriated from the event, and my memory is a little foggy, but I do remember some of these questions. We had a very long, extensive conversation. It was just me and him for like 30 minutes, and I really hate the fact that a lot of these people had no idea who they were walking by. Elwin, if you're watching this, it was a good chat, bud. But yeah, it was a crazy event, and I don't know how it happened. I mean, I've seen Elwin a long time ago in Dinosaur Citizen, and you know, and I've been following his stuff. He's a big Drake dude. He creates a lot of the Drake ships, and yeah, it was amazing to have a conversation with him. Let's see. Let's continue forward. The 300i customizable as you bought it from the website. He said that was not a scalable approach to how they want to move forward with customizing ships. So the 300i will more or less be probably one of a kind, unless something changes. Obviously, I don't have a direct line to Elwin, so I can't just get an update daily. So unless something changes in the foreseeable future, the 300i will be the only type of ship of its kind that was customizable on the website as you were purchasing it. I also asked him about the interior decorations, the set dressings, if you would, for like food and water and stuff. And he explained to me that at some point, most of all the ships will be wiped clean. There will be no set dressing because they're not interactable anyway, and it's just taking up space for players to place their own items in, those places. I guess it's just to give people a representation of what you would place in those locations. And I also it was kind of a joke, but it was kind of a serious thought at the same time. So most ships, when you go in them, you place your you drop your bottles or food or whatever that's left over from consuming, usables. And I kind of jokingly said, it would be cool if we had like trash cans or waste bins on ships or built into them. Like he immediately flipped his phone out and was like, "It's a good idea." And then he started texting somebody and he said, "I'll pass that along." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I mentioned this in a couple streamers streams today, and they said, yeah, that's kind of always been the idea, but it's, as long as something gets pushed for. I also mentioned having some sort of tractor and trailer or a semi with cargo. A lot of people was like, well, why do we need that? We got ships. And then I made the argument that what if a planet was very toxic to your ship? What if it was too much electromagnetic interference? What if there was some nuclear fallout? And these type of planets or moons, I would say that you would need something in like the atmosphere potentially. But what if there was like a Mount Everest, right? It was like really up high and it wasn't like so much interference. And then you could deploy a tractor and trailer type of semi that hauls cargo and you could still move about on the planet. It'd be a little slow and tedious, but there would be gameplay to be had. So it's just an idea I threw out there. He said he kind of liked it, and he doesn't do level design, so he doesn't know how much level design person would, work on that, or atmospheric, what was a technician? I can't remember exactly what he said, but anyway, that was pretty much the sum of our conversation, what I do remember of it. Then I walked into Jake. They were entertaining two large crowds, and they were talking about poop mechanics when I first encountered the group. Jar Jar, yep, that's you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Was very adamant that poop mechanics needs to be a thing, and I don't disagree, but at the same time, it's poop mechanics. Yep. Okay. Moving forward. I asked Jake. I said, will we ever get org communication types? Maybe via the Star Citizen launcher. Jake said that it's essentially the idea that they're going to roll Spectrum into it, and also the inspiration was taken from Blizzard launcher. So I'm assuming that there will be some sort of chat, members, org mates, some arrangement of that sort. And I also mentioned left-right communications, and they said that there would be some sort of integration for audio, and they've been working diligently on getting the audio worked out. So that's one cool thing. I also asked a dumb question. Does Tony Z still work at CIG? The answer was, can't speak on it. I don't know, but I can't speak on it. So take it for face value. I tried, guys. Sorry. And then I asked if there was going to be an ArtCorp makeover. Of course, I kind of already knew there was, but Jake confirmed that there will be a ArtCorp makeover, and there will be more use of the alleys via planet-side missions and such. So that's going to be cool. Also asked the question, investigation detective missions. Jake replied, yes, there will be more missions of this type. And we should, hopefully, if everything goes right, see more of that at CitizenCon, because I set the scene for, a dead body appears under a blanket, of course, to, alleviate the blood and all this other things of that nature of a murderous scene, and possibly that, NPCs spawn near the dead body with informative information. Is that right? Informative information. That kind of sounds redundant. Anyway, so like, NPC number 1 would say the color of their hair and jeans. NPC number 2 would say the color of their shirt and jeans. And NPC number 3 would say, they're lying, or something along those lines. So it would be something sort of to where you have to puzzle piece the information that you receive from the NPCs together to kind of figure out who murdered the person under the sheet. Just some sort of detective gameplay that I thought of. And Jake also openly talked about how org bases were being worked on alongside the crafting. So they're kind of entangled together. I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of factory type of thing that's will be able to be built with the bases that would allow you to craft, or potentially crafted items. No, he said crafting. Yeah, so they were intertwined as the words that were used, I believe. I'm not sure it's exactly 100% verbatim, but it was that they were being worked on in tandem. I think that was verbatim. Cargo missions, obviously, we all know. Jump points, we all know. Let's see what else was said. Jake also said that the ownership was being worked on. Now, I'm not sure if this pertains to like ships, like you're allowing other people to use your ships based on your ownership, or if it was based on property, like land claim ownership. So I'm not sure what that was fully talked about. And another question that kind of just came out of nowhere was starter missions from, well, not necessarily mining and salvaging, but the answer to the question was yes, we want more starter missions at starter planets, i.e. Area 18, New Babbage, ArtCorp, I said Area 18, ArcCorp, same thing, Hurston and Crusader. So we should see more little missions based solely on the planets themselves, rather than having to, you know, just carry boxes back and forth from planet to moon, or planet to outpost, or whatever have you, or moon to outpost, or moon to moon, or however. Anyway, yeah, so that's basically the gist of the DC BarCitizen that I went to. It was a great place. They're planning on having one again next year. I would invite all of you who can make it. It's a 6-hour drive for myself, so if I can make it, I'm sure anybody else can make it. The event itself was free. They did provide water, I believe, was free if you want water. You know, they had pizza, beer, mixed drinks, an assortment of, you know, things like that. And the establishment was a very good place. It was kind of back in a hole type thing, so it was in a plaza, but the location was like at the far end of the plaza. So from the street side, you had to walk, you know, it was a direct walk to the place. We didn't know where it was at, and I just kind of happened to see it as we were walking by, because we were actually hunting for it. But it was a great establishment otherwise. But yeah, if anybody has any questions other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all the questions and answers that I did receive, or ask and receive. So other than that, yeah, that's all I got, guys. So I'm hoping to hit some more BarCitizens up close by, and hopefully some more devs will be appearing at some of those for more questions. All right, that's all I got for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff like this, please hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, remember, game on.